It was a great idea. Super veteran move getting the stool. Okay, so this story is very near and dear to my heart. It's the story of how I became a man, the story of how I got to be this groovy of an individual. It is the story of how I got to Mercer University. So, this starts out in high school. I went to Stevenson High School in Stone Mountain, Georgia, DeKalb County. I went there literally because they were known to get people into college for football. Because my mom thought the middle school was a little too hood, so I didn't go there. But since I was playing football, it was all good. And around my junior year, I was balling pretty hard. And I just had this feeling that I'm going D1. I just got on that. That's what it is. But I didn't have any offers at the end of my junior year. And my dad called me and he said, "Hey man, you trying to go to college, right?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that." And he said, "Okay, well, have you put in any applications? What's going on? You know, he's saying, year coming up." And I said, "No, I haven't applied anywhere." And he said, "Well, why not? Ain't that the process?" My dad was a freelance photographer. And he didn't play any sports, so he didn't really know how this thing works, but he was just asking. And I said, "Well, Dad, you're right, but you gotta understand. I'm fine at football, man. I'm not gonna apply like I don't ball. Somebody's gonna call me, and they're gonna say, 'Hey, I want to pay you for you to come to my school.'" And he said, "Well, what if that doesn't happen?" And I said, "Well, Dad, be unrealistic with me, man. What are you doing? Don't hit me with pragmatism." But lo and behold, 3 days before signing day. Signing day is when everyone in the nation signs their national letter of intent. 3 days before signing day, I got that call. Somebody said, "Hey, we want you to come to our school." It was a school in Mississippi, but I'm not going to tell the name because they don't need that shine. I had to lie to them and say somebody else offered me already, but it's okay. We got it done, right? So I was vindicated, right? Because when you're a high school football player, all you really want to tell the world is, "Hey, I'm really good at football, guys." And how do you prove that? Going D1. I was vindicated. So, I don't know if anyone in here has seen a show called Blue Mountain State, but that's kind of what I was expecting. That experience, I was expecting a little bit of debauchery. I was expecting to be treated pretty kingly. I was expecting to have my entire wardrobe tricked out, not to wear any of my own clothes, just all the school stuff, basically. So, my mom takes me to Mississippi, right? It's about 6 hours away. And, we're meeting everybody. It's about the summertime. And before my mom leaves, she's kind of fighting back tears because, that's what moms do. And I told her, I said, "Well, Mom, I love you. And we're real close, but I'm a little bit of a mama's boy, so I'm gonna probably like not talk to you for like 2 months. But don't take it personal. I just gotta grow up a little bit. I gotta get some individuality going on." And she looked at me just like she was betrayed or something. I said, "So you taking it personal?" But that's okay. People gonna do what they're gonna do. So the next day we had our very first workout, and they told us to get these big rubber 45-pound weights, and we all lined up in a single file line, and we went outside of the little shack that they had that was a weight room. And I thought we were gonna, push them or lift them or something. And they said, "We're gonna do Indian runs." And I said, oh my God, what? Indian runs are when you're in a single file line, everybody jogs, and the person in the back runs to the front. And you have to work together or you could kill somebody, because if you're running too fast, it'll be terrible. And the person in the front sprinted. He took off. And we did about 2 laps around the entire school, and then we went to the track, and we did about a mile there, and then came back. And I seriously considered like passing out on the grass, because we were running like alongside the grass, and I thought either they're gonna think that, man, he worked so hard that he passed out, we need this guy on the team, or they're gonna say, oh, he's not built for this. Send him home. So I decided not to pass out. But I felt like I almost risked my life during that workout, so I called everyone in my phone. My mother was the very first person I called. The next day, I said, "Hey, Mom." She said, "I didn't expect to hear from you this soon." I said, "Well, Mom, I'm not gonna lie. The workout we just did, I realized, life is precious. And, I love you, Ma. This thing ain't no joke. I called her, I called my grandma, my aunt, my dad. I said, Dad, yo, they working this tuition out of me already, man. He said, yeah, dog, they don't play. But, in Mississippi, it was almost like a blast from the past, almost. It had a different energy about it. The heat was different. There was no saturation. It was dry heat. It was the very first time I experienced dry heat. And I remember this guy named Natron had gave us this speech before camp started. And he said, hey, man, it's kind of hard right now. I get that. But, if you get through camp, bro, all you got to do is make it through camp. And when you wear that logo on your chest, on your shorts, he said, bro, everybody treats you like a king, bro. He said, man, you go anywhere in the city. This is in, I ain't gonna say where, but you go anywhere in the city, man, you get things for free, man. The women love you, the teachers love you, man. They gonna look out for you. It's gonna be beautiful. So I said, okay, we got a little something to look forward to, right? So the other players kind of come in now because we're getting to the regular season or we're getting to camp, and everyone's telling me about how last year there was an ambulance that was just parked outside of practice because it was at least one person going to the hospital every day. And I was like, well, that's odd. Why were they going to the hospital? Was it a ride or something? He said, no. He said, brother, this is serious. He said, you want to know who went for the most part? I said, who? He said, offensive lineman. That was the position that I played. I said, oh my God. I said, but you know what? That ain't gonna happen to me because I'm exceptional, right? And we go through camp and my body is hurting in such a different kind of way. I didn't want no hugs. I didn't want no one to touch me. I just wanted my personal space. But I survived through camp. Very first practice, I went against a guy, his face was on a billboard. His face was on billboards all around the campus. He was kind of the guy. He was the one, in a way. And the very first rep we did together on a pass rush, just kind of like simulated like a pass play basically. He was so fast, I really didn't have time to react. And he, in layman's terms, he embarrassed me basically. I ended up on the ground. That's all. I ended up on the ground and I said, oh my God, am I not ready for this? Oh my goodness. But we had 2 practices that day. And, the entire time I said to myself, I just can't get dead like that. I can't get treated like that. I can't allow another man to do me like that. So I got him back the next practice, and I ended up starting my freshman year. And we got into the regular season. I think the first game we played was against the University of New Mexico State, something like that. It was nice, but I've never been beaten that bad before. I think it was like 0-64. And I thought, well, okay, I mean, this is New Mexico though. When we get back into conference play, it's gonna be all good. So the next game we played, it was in conference. We played Southern University. They beat us like 66-0. And I said, oh, this is different. It's real different. But I said, you know what, that's cool. I'm in college. This is what everybody's been talking about. I'm about to have a ball. And I remember that first practice, for whatever reason, the locker room was on the other side of campus from the practice field. So you had to go change in the locker room and either get a ride to the practice field or walk like 5 minutes or whatever. It was terrible design, but it's okay. So we practiced kind of into like when the cafeteria is open, because the cafeteria opens 3 times a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, opens and closes. And I remember we practiced maybe 15 minutes into the time that the cafeteria opened. So that was cool. I got a ride back to the locker room. I didn't shower with other guys yet. I just wasn't comfortable with that. You gotta get used to being around a lot of other naked men. That's just something you can't just jump into that. You gotta warm up into that. And people were laughing and playing in the showers. I didn't know what was going on over there. It was mysterious. I didn't like that. So I get to the cafeteria. I done worked up a sweat. I done worked up an appetite. I said, man, let me see what this cuisine looking like. And I remember getting there, and it's a little dim in there, kind of like here. I said, oh, okay, they got a little ambiance going on. All right, that's nice. All right. So, I go up to the where they got the food at. I'm looking. I'm like, what they hiding there? That's cool. So I get my little plate, and I see 1 country fried steak Just one. Just one. And it wasn't even self-serve. I had to wait for someone to give it to me. And they put it on my plate, and I said, well, what's going on here? What's everything? Where the food at? They said, oh, we closed, baby. It's over. I looked at I ain't got no watch. I looked at my phone. They was open for another 45 minutes. I said, what? That don't make sense. I went over and I sat down with my country fried steak, and I said, well, you know what? This is probably just one day. That's it, because I'm irrationally optimistic. So I'm like, it's just one day. It's all good. Because I done worked really hard to get to my weight. I was 300 pounds at this point. And it was hard to be 300 pounds. But I got there, right? So I eat my little country fried steak, still starving. It's all good, though. We in the country, so Walmart closes at about 7. And the nearest restaurant is like 10 miles away. And my life had just been too beautiful for me to walk 20 miles down and back to get something to eat. I just wasn't raised that grinding, you know? My mom really had me spoiled, you know? But I said, you know what? Next day gonna be good. It's cool. The next day was not good. It was more of the same. And then it's almost like the veil fell. It's like I was seeing everything for real. I said, whoa. The water smelled like eggs. The water was giving people rashes. My homie, my best homie, Deezy the Great, he lived below me. He came to my room one day. He said, hey, man, I can't even say what just happened, dog. Let me just show you. I said, whoa, I thought we was going to have to fight someone or something. I said, oh, man, I put my shoes on. We went. His whole ceiling fell into his tub. Whole ceiling. He just looked at me. He said, brother, do you know how long it's going to take them to fix this? It took them a whole semester. He just used our showers because it was just like that. I started looking around. In the front of the campus, they got like man-made lakes and all these new buildings. But in the back, it was abandoned buildings. I said, what is happening here? I'm going backwards. I didn't live around abandoned buildings. This is strange. I remember I went to my first party. I said, you know what? I gotta get some of this stress up off me. I gotta boogie this on now. It's all good. So we go to this party at this place called the Orange Building because it was an orange building, right? My homie drove me because I didn't have a car at the time, and we're in there. You know, I'm kind of looking around, and the energy kind of weird. It's a little tense, but it's all good. And you know, I'm just looking around, and then all of a sudden, you know, pop, they shooting. And aside from the immediate feeling of I gotta get out of here, in the back of my mind, I said, they shoot at college parties? You could have stayed home for that. College costs money. You came to college to be a gangster? What? But, I'm here now, and I'm starting to get on the phone now. I'm asking people, hey, when you get a scholarship to a college, can you get another scholarship to another college? Does it work that way? They said, no, bro, I'm sorry. It don't work like that. It sucks. I'm sorry. So at this point, I'm just a little sad. I'm not going to lie to you. And one of the kickers came up to me after practice. He said, hey, man, you look really sad. You like your dog just died, man. He said, you know what you should do? You should come smoke with us, man. It's going to tear you right on up. I said, well, I'm not doing anything else to battle the sadness, so why not? Maybe this will help me. So I go to his room with a few of the other football players, and we get loaded. I got blasted, super high. And you know what I realized when I was super high? I was still super sad. I said, wow, I'm just blasted and sad now. And we had a meeting a little bit later that day. Go to the meeting. I'm a little sobered up by now. And they're telling us a bunch of stuff I don't care about. And then they say, oh, hey, we got a surprise for y'all. Drug test. And I said, whoa. I said, no, I said, no, this can't happen same day. I said, nah. We're 3 months into the semester at this point. I was the 4th name on the list. I looked around, I said, oh my God. I'm about to blow this. I'm about to get sent back home. I'm a disgrace. My goodness. But then I said, whoa. It's a bunch of potheads on this team. They have to handle this some kind of way. So I go back to the same kicker that invited me to get high. I said, hey man, how do y'all handle this? He said, oh bro, don't even trip. We're gonna go to Walmart. we're gonna get these drug things, we're gonna be straight. So I got this thing called Serto, put it in this drink. It messed up the drink, but I drank it. It's supposed to make you pee a lot, right? Because the drug test is like at 5 in the morning. So I'm drinking a whole bunch of water and everything, and I'm not urinating very much. Getting a little scared at this point. But that's okay. I said, you know what? I'm gonna stay kind of positive because it just gotta be something. I can't get sent home. I'm not that kind of guy. So I'm up at 5 in the morning at the facility, waiting on the NCAA guys to come, and I'm with a few of these other football players, one of which I didn't realize it until that morning, until he told me, but I had never seen him sober before. He was literally always high from the beginning of the semester to this point, whenever I seen him, but he was sober at this point. And he said, well, the NCAA guys came up and everybody's super tense, everybody's super sad. And this guy, he just didn't really care about too much. So he said, hey man, what are y'all testing for today? I had never asked something like that. I just didn't have the confidence. But the NCAA guys said, hey, well, we're supposed to test for everything. Because we're the NCAA. But that's expensive. So we're just testing for steroids. So, I skidded away with that because I hadn't been doing those steroids, right? But I took that as a sign from the universe, from God, saying, hey, stop doing that stuff. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna smoke no more. But now I had to face this sadness myself. Now I'm just walking around and I'm just noticing things about the campus. It's like there were trees around, but I had never heard any birds chirping. Not one time. There were no birds on this campus. I remember there was this crater in the earth behind the cafeteria, and it had like this rainbow liquid behind it. And it was, for whatever reason, a bunch of stray cats on this campus. I don't know why, but a lot of stray cats. And I don't know why, but I felt a connection to these cats. And one of them had drank out of the puddle. Cat was dead, man. The cat died. I said, man, this place is bad for everybody. Goodness. And at this point, we're maybe halfway through the season, maybe a little bit more, and I get a shoulder injury during the game. I messed my shoulder up, and during the game, they told me, they took me out. They said, hey man, it's okay. We gonna get you right. Don't even worry about that. And I said, oh, okay, cool. So all right, I didn't play the rest of that game. So I come to practice the following Monday when they said they was gonna take me to the doctors, and I go see the trainer. His name was Coop. And Coop said, hey, what you doing, man? Where your pads at? I said, Coop, you said you said we're going to the doctor. He said, yeah, but you can still practice. And I said, well, Coop, my shoulder ain't working. Like it hurt to hang my arm. Coop, what you talking about? He said, no, man, you gotta practice. See, this right here was the first time I really had to say no. So like a coach, you think these people have your best interests at heart. But I said, no, dog, I'm not doing that. And he said, okay, well, that's when you're on your own. I'm not, you got to tell the coaches that. So, I went through that. I got a little mad. I started going to Walmart, started stealing a few things. I felt like the city owed me, kind of, but then I started emailing schools. I thought, I got to get out of here. This ain't working. And I was emailing and only D2 schools. I was only emailing D2 schools because this school I went to, this conference sucked. So no D1 schools would have wanted me. I just had it in my mind. And one day, when I was literally just about to give up, I was just gonna be my own. I was gonna go be a regular student. I got a call from a Georgia number, and I got on the phone and I said hello, and they said, hey, is this Austin? I said yeah. And they were like, hey, this is so-and-so from Georgia football. And I said, whoa. I said, well, I had to take this outside. I couldn't let nobody hear this because this is important. So I went outside. I said, well, Georgia football. You mean like a school in Georgia, or you mean like Bulldog, Georgia? They said, yeah, Bulldog, Georgia. And I said, well, I had to compose myself. I said, whew. I said, how are you, man? I'm so glad to hear from you, brother. What's going on? He said, hey, man, I seen your highlight tape, man, and I'd like for you to come to Georgia, on a preferred walk-on position. I said, I had to compose myself again because that made my heart flutter. And my heart doesn't flutter very often. And I said, man, I appreciate that so much, brother. I really, really do. But I can't accept that because honestly, I'm too good at football, bro. I can't pay for school. I just can't. And he said, you know what, man? I agree with you. You are too good to be paying for school, and you have a very bright future wherever you go, man. And that right there, that lit me. That lit me up because at this time I was kind of beefing with my mom because she told me to stay. And I said, stay here? I said, Mom, God come to this dorm room and tell me to stay at this school. I'm going to have to look God in them godly eyes. And I think people would die for that. But I said, I'm going to have to look God in them eyes and say, hey, God, why? And if I don't agree with the reason, we just not on the same page. But I actually called my mom to brag. I called her to say, yo, Mom, Georgia want me. You wrong, Charlie. You wrong. And I called, I said, Mom, Georgia called me. And she said, oh, I'm so glad that they called you. And I said, what you mean? And she said, well, I felt so bad, so I had been sending out my highlight tape and I sent it to her. And she said, well, I took your highlight tape, I sent it to the University of Georgia, and I put in the subject line a mother's plea. And I was like, man, goodness, this woman is the truth. After that, I looked up all the Division I schools in the NCAA. I emailed like every offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. I sent about 267 emails or something like that. I was really willing and dealing. I mean, I was on the phone with coaches like every day. I felt like an agent. But I actually, hit up Mercy University. I actually sent them the wrong email because I didn't change the logo or change the the mascot. I put like a rival school mascot, but they liked me and they knew I was the truth. So went down there during spring break, went on a visit. The head coach told me he told me to keep my options open, which is almost the equivalent of don't quit your day job. So I felt like they just wasted my time. But I think the guy that they wanted more than me, he might have failed through. So they called me and said, hey, we want you here on a full ride scholarship. And that's how I got to Mercy University.